Expand your vocabulary with our Core 2000 Words ebook. It's free and packed with essential expressions that you'll use on a daily basis. Start building your vocabulary today. Click the link in the description below to download your free Polish ebook before it's gone.
Hello everyone, my name is Marzena and today we will learn 10 ways to remember words. So here we go. Powtarzanie, repetition. Powtarzanie. Powtarzanie means repetition, so for example you can say powtarzanie jest najlepszą metodą na zapamiętywanie. Powtarzanie jest najlepszą metodą na zapamiętywanie. Repetition is the best way to memorize. And that's true, actually, some people say that you have to repeat a word maybe 5, 6, 7, and sometimes even up to 12 times to really, truly remember it. You have to see it in different sentences. That's actually what's working, so remember to always repeat whatever you learn. Oglądać telewizję z napisami. To watch TV with subtitles. Oglądać telewizję z napisami. To watch TV with subtitles. So another very good thing is just to watch TV with subtitles, and you can say często oglądam telewizję z napisami. I often watch TV with subtitles. That is a very good thing to do if you, for example, watch it in Polish and then you have subtitles in Polish and you can kind of try to match these words with the sounds you hear. Or you can even try subtitles in English, but still listen to Polish and, oh, okay, I know this word. Oh, that's this one word in English. That's a very nice thing to do. Or do it the other way around. You can watch TV in English and then have subtitles in Polish and try to match between the words. Ćwiczyć poprzez pisanie. To practice by writing. So, for example, you can say ćwiczę nowe słowa poprzez ich pisanie. I'm practicing new words by writing it. Ćwiczyć poprzez pisanie, or in other words, practicing by writing, it's a very good way to memorize new words. As people say, it's your hand that will remember it. And that is true for languages with different alphabet, but that's actually true for Polish as well. Even native speakers, when they go to elementary school, they practice all those difficult spellings by writing it many, many times until we remember it, until we memorize it. Czytać na głos, to read out loud. Czytać na głos, to read out loud. So for example, you can say wieczorami czytam na głos ulubione książki. I read my favorite books out loud in the evenings. That's another good way to practice new words, and not only new words, to practice grammar as well, of course, your reading skills. I remember when I was studying different foreign languages, and I did study a little bit when I was in high school, and then when I was at the university, all my teachers kept on reminding me to practice it and to practice to read out loud. So I did it before bed, before going to bed. I was reading out loud this short dialogues, and it really helped me. It helped me remember not only the words, but the sentence structure and also the sound, the riff of my language. Tworzyć powiązania pomiędzy słowami. To create associations between words. Tworzyć powiązania pomiędzy słowami. To create associations between words. That's another good way to do it and another good way to memorize something. So for example, you know the word dom. Dom, which means house, in case you didn't, but you probably know it, dom. And you hear this new word, which is domownik. You don't really know this one, but you kind of know this dom part. So if you connect it to the house and there's nik, maybe you know pracownik with the same ending, nik, and pracownik is a worker, so a person. So there is house and a person, domownik. So it's a person living in a house. Any person living in a house, domownik. Zapamiętać poprzez słuchanie. To memorize by listening. Zapamiętać poprzez słuchanie. To memorize by listening. So, for example, you can say najlepiej zapamiętuję poprzez słuchanie. I memorize the best by listening. For some people that's true. So some people are better with reading and some people are better with listening. And you need to try a lot of different stuff to find your thing, and don't really stick with one thing. Even if it's easier for you to maybe memorize by reading, try memorizing by listening as well, to learn the sound, to remember to memorize the pronunciation, and the other way around as well. Czytać proste teksty. To read simple texts. Czytać proste teksty. To read simple texts. So for example, you can say, czytam dużo prostych tekstów. I read a lot of simple texts. And that would be actually my recommendation to you whenever you study any language, Polish and any other language actually. It's very good to just read simple texts. Don't use your dictionary. Just choose very, very simple text. If you really cannot get it, if it's too difficult and you really have this urge to grab a dictionary and check this word and that word and many, many other words, then you are not really reading. So choose a very, very, very simple text that you actually know most of the words, like 95%, and try to go through it. And believe me, you will learn grammar that way, you will learn new vocabulary that way. That's the best way to learn new things without actually learning. Or actually without doing anything. That's a very good thing. Słuchać piosenek z tekstami. To listen songs with lyrics. Słuchać piosenek z tekstami. To listen songs with lyrics. For example, you can say, codziennie słucham piosenek z tekstami. I listen to songs with lyrics every day. And if you really like music, that may be a way of studying new words or remembering new sentences, phrases for you, because with the melody, it just come into your head without trying to memorize it very, very hard. So be sure to try that one too. Rozmawiać z kolegami. To talk with friends. Rozmawiać z kolegami. To talk with friends. For example, you can say, używam nowych słów rozmawiając z kolegami. I use new words when talking with friends. And of course, that's the best thing you can do when you want to practice. So if you want to practice language and once you memorize something, it's very important to practice it. If you don't try to practice, if you don't try to use it, it's just a simple word. You may be memorized, but you cannot use it. You cannot do anything with it, and so it's useless. So why did you even spend this time trying to memorize it? So be sure to practice. Use the words you've learned. So don't be shy. And remember, even native speakers, when they were like 1 year old, they couldn't speak the language. So why are they so good right now? Because they were practicing for like 20 years, 30 years. So be sure to do that too. Grać w gry. To play games. Grać w gry. So to play games. And you can say, gram w gry po polsku. I play games in Polish. So some people don't like study with books, and that's okay. Some people don't like reading too much. That's okay too. But if you don't do anything, that's, a problem, because you are not learning the language. And if you are really, really motivated and you want to learn the language, but you don't really like to read, you don't like to talk too much, then you can try something simpler or maybe more fun, like playing games. And there's a lot of very, very famous Polish video games or games in Polish, like you can try The Witcher, for example. And if you already passed it, you can try it again and just do it in Polish, in the language of the game, and just have fun. Okay, that's all for today. And today we studied 10 ways to remember words. If you want more content like that, go to polishpod101.com, and remember to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Thank you again, and see you next time.
For some, learning a new language seems to come naturally. For others, the entire process feels more like a tooth and nail struggle. However, if you've had a negative experience learning a new language at one point in time, don't let that discourage you from trying again. The truth is that learning any language is never easy, but it's definitely possible. Sometimes the difference between success and failure has less to do with your abilities or talents and a lot more to do with the way you look at things. In this video, we're going to look at how to avoid 5 serious mistakes made by new language learners. Number 1, listen before you speak. Being slow to speak and quick to listen is good life advice, whether or not you're learning a foreign language. Effective listening is essential to communication. As a beginner, there is a tendency to concentrate so much on what you're going to say and how you're going to say it that you can completely miss the meaning or heart of what the other person is trying to communicate. Not only will this impair your ability to listen in your target language, it will also stall what little conversation you had going. Remember that conversations are a two-way street. If you're speaking more than listening, then you actually have more of a monologue on your hands than a dialogue. The inputs of language learning, listening and reading, are just as important as the outputs, speaking and writing. For a beginner, inputs are even more crucial, as they are the main way you acquire new vocabulary. We even go so far to say that for new students, the best method for learning involves more listening than it does speaking, though that may change with higher proficiency levels. Number 2, don't be embarrassed when you do speak. People's next mistake usually comes from the other side of the spectrum, where new learners are too scared or embarrassed to contribute to a conversation. The fear of making mistakes and embarrassing yourself can paralyze your language learning. It's vital to remember that everyone makes mistakes. Even native speakers had to find their way through the language when they were children. Making mistakes while learning a new language is inevitable, but it's also a good thing. The faster you make mistakes, the quicker you can correct them and move on with your learning. So instead of being afraid to make mistakes, try looking at them as steps towards progress. In reality, that's what they really are. Number 3, don't fixate on minor issues. If taken in all at once, a new language can feel overwhelming to learn. It's so easy to get discouraged by all your little mistakes and conversational mishaps, and you lose sight of the progress you're making. In addition to mistakes, you'll also come across plateaus, where you study and practice consistently but don't see any results for a significant amount of time. But whether you face errors or plateaus, remember that these things are minor obstacles on the road to fluency. The most important thing is not to give up. Stick with it. If you stay persistent, your mistakes will be corrected and your abilities will improve. But if you slow down or throw in the towel completely, then you'll either subvert your progress or nix it altogether. So remember that as long as you're still studying and learning the language, you can't lose. It might feel like you're losing the battle for language learning for a little while, but hang in there. A practical way to help you stay motivated is to make small weekly goals. Research shows that goal setting has a significant impact on learning. Try picking one aspect of grammar or a collection of new words or phrases to study for the next 7 days. At the end of the week, check your progress and measure your success. Setting little benchmarks like this will give you a rightful sense of accomplishment. Number 4, remember that immersion isn't magical. A lot of people think that by moving to a foreign country, they will learn the language by osmosis. But whether you learn abroad or at home, you still need to study and practice the language. Living in a new country gives you way more opportunities to do this than staying at home. But if you don't consciously take advantage of these opportunities while living abroad, it won't benefit your language learning. If you're an expat living in a foreign country, there's a natural inclination to hang out around other expats. Learning a language and living in a foreign culture is hard and uncomfortable. For better or worse, we're often drawn to the easier road. If you made the decision to study abroad, then you want to hang out with native-speaking people as much as possible. You have the rest of your life to be with people who speak your language. This doesn't mean ignore your expat friends. Just be sure that you're giving proper attention to your language learning. Languages are better lived than they are learned. Number 5, be open-minded. Languages are better lived than they are learned. When learning a new language, your brain will want to conform the new grammar and vocabulary to your native language norms and grammar rules. Ignore your brain on this one. At first, you might feel completely wrong saying a sentence that is in fact correct. After a certain point in language learning, there is a switch that goes off, when your brain finally realizes that you're not speaking your native language, but a new one altogether. This could take a while though, especially if this is your first time learning a new language. Until then, do what you know is correct, even if it feels a bit weird when you say it. The same goes for culture. Just as you want to be open to the differences in the language, don't forget to be open to the differences in the culture too. Hopefully this video helped you shift your thinking and approach language learning in a way that will help you become fluent faster. And that you'll learn to enjoy the journey towards fluency and savor the language for its own sake. That's probably the biggest language learning secret there is. And for even more ways to get started learning a new language, check out our complete language learning program. Sign up for your free lifetime account by clicking on the link in the description. Get tons of resources to have you speaking in your target language. And if you enjoyed these tips, hit the like button, share the video with anyone who's trying to learn a new language, and subscribe to our channel. We release new videos every week. I'll see you next time. Bye!
Hello everyone and welcome to Polish Top Words. So my name is Marzena and today we will learn 10 hardest words to pronounce in Polish. So are you ready? Let's go! Drożdżówka, yeast cake. Drożdżówka, yeast cake. So if you've ever been in Poland, you probably saw those deliciously looking cakes or like buns. And that's actually what drożdżówka is. We have it with marmalade, we have it with poppy seed, we have it with cheese, anything you can imagine basically. And they're delicious, so everybody remembers it from like when they were children and eating it almost every day and not getting fatter. So for example, if you like this one with poppy seed, you can say uwielbiam drożdżówki z makiem, which means I love the yeast bun with poppy seeds. Dziękuję, thank you. Dziękuję. Dziękuję is just thank you, yet it's quite difficult to pronounce. Dziękuję. So if you want to say thank you for everything you've done for me, you can say dziękuję za wszystko, co dla mnie zrobiłeś. Thank you for everything you have done for me. Książka, book. Książka. Książka, it's a book. So if you see a book and you are not sure what it is and want to ask like what kind of book is that, what is this book, you just, look at it, you point at it and you say, co to za książka? What is this book? Chrząszcz, beetle. Chrząszcz. I guess this is like, for me, as a native speaker, it is probably one of the hardest words to pronounce, if not the hardest one. And chrząszcz, chrząszcz means beetle. And for example, you can say, widziałeś tego chrząszcza? Have you seen this beetle? Cześć, hello. Cześć. Cześć means hello. And you can use it as hello, and you can use it like as bye-bye. You just use it to your friends or among your friends, among like people of the same age. You don't really use it to elders or people you don't really know. For example, when you come in to a room and you see your friends sitting and doing something and you want to ask them, hi, what are you doing? What are you up to? You can say, cześć, co robisz? Oczywiście. Of course. Oczywiście. Oczywiście means of course. And let's say your friend asks you to do something for him or her and you want to say, of course I will help you. You are a good friend. You can say, oczywiście, że ci pomogę. Przepiękny. Very beautiful. Przepiękny. Przepiękny means very beautiful. It comes from piękny. Piękny means just beautiful. But if you want to say like very beautiful, like really beautiful, we will say przepiękny. Przepiękny. So, for example, you saw this wonderful sunset and you want to say it was very beautiful. You can say zachód słońca był dzisiaj przepiękny. The sunset was very beautiful today. Przerażający. Terrifying. Przerażający. Przerażający means terrifying. And horror movies are. If that actual horror was very terrifying, you can say ten horror jest przerażający. This horror movie is terrifying. Let's watch something different. Przeszczęśliwy. Overly happy. Przeszczęśliwy. Przeszczęśliwy means overly happy, like very happy, like super happy, like you are just really, really, really happy. You can say jestem przeszczęśliwa. That's if you're a girl. Or if you're a guy, you can say jestem przeszczęśliwy, which means I'm overly happy. I'm really happy. Krzyżówka, crossword. Krzyżówka. Krzyżówka means crossword. Well, let's say you love doing crosswords and your friend is asking you, oh, do you want to do this one with me? And you're like, no, sorry, thank you, I've already done it. You can say, rozwiązałem już tę krzyżówkę. I've already solved this crossword. Thank you for watching 10 hardest words to pronounce in Polish. And my name is Marzena, and if you like this video, please leave comments and give it a thumbs up. And for more videos and more vocabulary, please visit polishpod101.com. So that's all for today. Thank you and see you next time.
Want to speak real Polish from your first lesson? Sign up for your free lifetime account at polishpod101.com.
So, you decided to learn a new language. At first, the idea seemed exciting. You bought a phrase book, dictionary, and a subscription to an online class, ready to dive headfirst into the language. For the first day or two, all was well. You gained ground quickly, learning a few basic phrases and words. A week before, learning that language was just a dream, but now you're actually doing it. Then, the third and fourth day roll around. The excitement is wearing off. You encouraged yourself to continue, and another week or two goes by, but with a lot less progress. Suddenly, learning a new language doesn't fill you with excitement anymore. Now it feels more like dread. Sometimes it feels like you're drowning in grammatical cases, verb conjugations, and wonky pronunciation. It all seems too much to handle, so you start to think about giving up. But we encourage you not to give up. Learning a foreign language is difficult. We won't pretend like it isn't. But that doesn't mean you can't do it. Sometimes you just need to take a step back, reevaluate your approach, and come back to the language with a different perspective. In this video, we'll look at 4 tips for when learning a new language feels overwhelming. Number 1, set aside a designated study time. Consistency is key when learning a foreign language. Studying 15 minutes 7 days a week will benefit you more than cramming in 2 hours 1 day a week. Set aside an amount of time that works best for you. If you can afford to spend an hour every day learning, that's awesome. Go for it. But don't feel bad if you can't spend that much time. Even 10 or 15 minutes a day goes a long way. Breaking up your learning into manageable time segments will relieve a lot of the stress that can come with studying a new language. Learning is not a race. Go at your own pace and try not to compare your progress with anyone else's. Number 2, take it one bite at a time. Now that you have your schedule under control, it's time to focus on what you'll actually be studying. It's recommended that every 1 to 2 weeks you focus on learning a very specific piece of the language. It could be a conjugation group, a case, tense, or a collection of theme vocabulary. Whatever you choose, hone in on it and do your best to feel comfortable with it before you move on to something else. Ever heard the saying, "How do you eat an elephant?" Focusing on one thing at a time helps you break the language into digestible chunks. Number 3, expose yourself to the language in different ways. Don't just sit around reading about grammar all day. Obviously, knowledge of grammar is important, but you want to spice up your practice as much as possible. In addition to grammatical study, try to mix in a combination of reading, writing, speaking, and listening. Try to practice reading by either translating a simple article into your native language, or maybe if you're a beginner, pick up a children's book in your target language. For writing, you can try to write out a fictional conversation between you and yourself, even. Use the phrases you know to create a mock conversation, and don't use any words you can't think of or you don't remember. To practice speaking, you can find native speakers locally at a language club or at a meetup. You can also find them online in a language exchange. For listening, a great podcast should do the trick. Spread out each type of practice, listening, reading, speaking, and writing, across your regular language study schedule. This will give you a balanced experience in the language and should help keep things interesting. This method also works well when you use it to focus on a single aspect of the language like we talked about above. Number 4, set mini goals, not just big ones. If your only language learning goal is to be fluent, you're likely setting yourself up for disappointment. While speaking fluently can be your ultimate goal, it shouldn't be your only one. Try to set mini goals month by month and week by week. It could be something simple. Learn 20 new verbs, practice a new case, or speak with 3 native speakers. As long as it's specific and reasonable to achieve in a shorter amount of time, it should work fine. Not having mini goals alongside your ultimate goal is a lot like sprinting across a huge open field. There's no reference point, so for much of the time it feels like you're not any closer to your goal. It's not that you're not moving forward, it just feels like you're not. Without any trees or buildings to run past, it seems like you're running in place. Mini goals are like the trees and buildings of your language race. They help you see that you're moving forward and give you a sense of accomplishment. The desire for perfection can get in the way of your progress. Don't freak out when you struggle to speak or make a mistake. It's all a part of the learning process. Also, don't be afraid to speak, even if you know what you'll say won't be totally correct. It's better to do your best to communicate in the language and get it wrong than to never try at all. Learning a new language isn't always easy. In fact, oftentimes it's very hard. Don't let that discourage you, though. Use these tips to help keep you focused yet unstressed in your language learning. A little perseverance will go a long way. Before long, you'll be speaking better than you may have thought was possible. And for even more help learning a new language without getting overwhelmed, check out our complete language learning program. Sign up for your free lifetime account by clicking on the link in the description. Get tons of resources to have you speaking in your target language. And if you enjoyed these tips, hit the like button, share the video with anyone who's trying to learn a new language, and subscribe to our channel. We release new videos every week. I'll see you next time. Bye! Hey everyone! Welcome to your monthly review, the monthly show on language learning, where you discover new learning strategies, motivational tips, new study tools, resources, and where we show off learners like you speaking the language. That is, if you're brave enough to participate and become language learning famous. All the materials mentioned in this video are available for you right now on our website. Click the link in the description to sign up for your free lifetime account and start speaking in minutes. Okay, today's topic is why your worst days are the best days to study. So, have you ever had a day where you planned on learning language and you just couldn't go through with it? Even if learning a new language is your personal goal, something that you really want? Well, today you're going to learn 1, why these bad days happen, and 2, why you'll get your best work done on your worst days. Let's start. Why bad days happen with language learning. When I say bad days, I don't mean when you're too busy or when life gets in the way. These things are unavoidable. I mean days when you're just not in the mood. It's a perfectly good day. The sun is shining. No bad news. But you just can't get yourself to study. You're just wasting the day. So here's why they happen. First, it's the law of diminishing returns in action. What does this mean? Think of it as eating pizza every day for 5 days a week. On the first day, the first 2 slices are great. But by the 3rd one, you're feeling queasy. It's not as good. And by the 5th day, you're sick of pizza. That's the law of diminishing returns, when the benefits start decreasing over time. And it happens with language learning. When you first start, you learn a lot of phrases and it feels good. You're excited. But as time goes on, you don't feel like you're learning much. And this affects your mood and motivation. So you're not as excited to learn anymore. So you start having bad days. Second, bad days happen because you overthink things and ruin it for yourself. It's like dreading going to the gym. Let's say you went yesterday. You have to go again today. So you're dreading it all day long. I gotta go again. You set yourself up for a bad mood and a bad day. Third, bad days are a natural part of the cycle. Some days will be good. Most days you'll feel indifferent. Some days will be bad. But that's completely natural, and anyone with long-term projects and goals feels the same. And fourth, you can't be on 100% of the time. So just like days can't always be good, you too can't always be on and ready to go all the time. Again, just a realistic and expected part of the journey. Now, let's jump into the second part, why you'll get your best work done on your worst days. So, why will you get your best work done? First, it's not that bad once you start. Once you've spent 10 or 15 minutes learning a language, it's not so bad. People say the same thing about the gym. If you show up and put in a bit of time, it gets easier. Second, it's overcoming a mental barrier. What I mean is, when most of us have bad days, our brain automatically says, okay, can't be done today. Stop, we're done. But if you just work through it, you don't take these bad days so seriously anymore. And that means you're more likely to stick with your language learning goal. This brings us to the next point. Third, it's your best work because working on a bad day only strengthens your habit of language learning. Remember, habits are what will help you master a language over time. If you can stick to a habit on a bad day, your habit only gets stronger, and it will lead you to fluency. And finally, fourth, it just feels good to overcome something. Imagine you have a bad day, but you still put in 10 minutes of language learning. It's a real sense of achievement. And it doesn't matter if you do a 10-minute lesson or a 5-minute lesson. The fact that you made some progress on a bad day will give you the motivation you need to keep going. Now, speaking of lessons, here are this month's new lessons and resources. First, the Best of 2018 Language Learning Cheat Sheets. If you want to get access to all of our conversation cheat sheets that we sent out this year, here's your chance. Download this PDF bundle right now. Next, the brand new Supermarket Cheat Sheet. With this cheat sheet, you'll learn must-know shopping phrases and vocab for meats, vegetables, and all products that you'll find in a supermarket. And finally, the most common adjectives. If you're a beginner and don't yet know these adjectives, then this is a perfect chance to boost your vocabulary. This 1-minute lesson will get them stuck in your head, guaranteed. To get these free lessons and resources, just click the link in the description below. All right, everyone. Now we're asking you to submit a video or audio file of yourself speaking the language. If you do, you'll win 3 free months of access to our learning program, which includes your very own teacher. Here's the challenge for you. Yes, everyone watching this. Record a 30-second to 1-minute video or audio clip. Introduce yourself in the language. Share your name, where you're from, and why you're studying this language. And you'll win a 3-month Premium Plus subscription. To submit, click on the link in the description. Sign up for your free lifetime account. Then, fill out the form. Attach the audio or video file, and press submit. We may feature you in next month's episode. So a lot of learners will see you and your progress, and will hopefully get inspired to improve and master the language. To submit a recording, click the link in the description and follow the instructions on the page. So thank you for watching this episode of Monthly Review. Next time, we'll talk about how to set achievable language learning goals and resolutions. In the meantime, submit your recording if you're brave. Like and share this video and leave a comment to tell us what language learning tactics you'd like us to talk about. See you next time. Bye! Hey everyone! Welcome to your monthly review, the monthly show on language learning, where you discover new learning strategies, motivational tips, new study tools, resources, and where we show off learners like you speaking the language. That is, if you're brave enough to participate and become language learning famous. All the materials mentioned in this video are available for you right now on our website. Click the link in the description to sign up for your free lifetime account and start speaking in minutes. Okay, today's topic is how to set achievable language goals and resolutions, your New Year's resolution solution. So, for those of you that have set a language goal for 2019, what is it? Leave a comment and tell me. And for those of you that laugh at New Year's resolutions because they just don't work, this is for you. Stick around. Today, you're going to learn, number 1, the top 3 reasons why language goals fail, and number 2, what you can do to succeed with your resolution. In other words, how to set successful language goals. Let's jump into today's topic, how to set achievable language goals and resolutions. And speaking of New Year's resolutions, it's almost like a joke nowadays, isn't it? You set a resolution, you try to do it in January. By February, there's no progress, and doing it isn't fun anymore. You quit and put it off until many years later when you start regretting all the things you've never done. So what's the problem with setting resolutions, and why do we keep failing? Let's jump into part 1, the top 3 reasons why language goals fail. First of all, regardless of what most people say, setting resolutions or goals is a good thing. You have to know where you're going and what you want to achieve, right? Otherwise, you'd spend days, months, years watching YouTube and have nothing to show for all the time you put in. But the problem with most resolutions is it's usually something like, I want to master Chinese, I want to lose weight, I want to be fluent in Japanese. People set very big, vague goals. And that's the first reason why resolutions fail. Resolutions fail because they are non-specific and unmeasurable. What do I mean by that? Take a goal like, I want to be fluent in English, Korean, or Japanese this year. The problem is that's a very vague goal, right? What do you mean by fluent? And how can you measure how much progress you need to be fluent in the language? You can't. It doesn't tell you anything about how much Japanese you should learn today, tomorrow, or how many minutes of Japanese to speak by month 1, by month 2, what resources to use, and when to stop and take a rest. So again, the first reason is resolutions fail because they are non-specific and unmeasurable. The second reason is New Year's resolutions fail because they're unrealistic. And you might say, but isn't it good to aim for the stars and set huge goals? Sure, it's not bad to want to go far, but if you say, I want to be fluent by September, and you just started learning a language today, it's not impossible, but are you ready to commit yourself to nothing but language learning, 6 to 8 hours a day, nonstop? If not, you need to be a little more realistic about your goals. The third reason is resolutions fail because there's no action plan. The problem is you'll still fail even with a specific and realistic goal if you don't know when and how you're going to do it. For example, when will you study? How long will you study for every day? And how will you study? So resolutions fail for 3 reasons. 1, they're non-specific and unmeasurable. 2, they're unrealistic. And 3, there's no action plan. Now, how do you set New Year's resolutions and actually succeed? Your goals should be 1, specific and measurable, 2, realistic, and 3, have an action plan. So the complete opposite of the mistakes most learners usually make. And there are 2 more rules. 4, you need to set a deadline. And 5, break down your yearly goal into smaller monthly goals. So how would this work? Let's say my New Year's resolution is to have a 30-minute conversation in Japanese by December 31st, and not, I want to learn Japanese one day, hopefully. Already, you can see that it's 1, specific and measurable. You can measure 30 minutes, right? 2, it's realistic. I'm aiming for 30 minutes, not fluency. There's a clear deadline, December 31st. Before we get into the action plan, there's another important part. I break my resolution down into smaller monthly goals. So let's say my goal is to speak 2 minutes of Japanese conversation by January 31st, 2019. Again, it's small and measurable, just 2 minutes. I can time myself and see how far along I am. There's a clear deadline. It's realistic. I'm not looking to master the whole language, just reach the 2-minute conversation mark. Now, what about your action plan? For that, you just need to answer these questions. When will you study? How long will you study every day? Where do you plan to study? How will you study? What's your study schedule? This is the most important part because this tells you when and how to study. So, when will you study? I'll study at 9 p.m. on weekdays, so 5 days a week. How long will you study every day? I'll study for 15 minutes. Where do you plan to study? I'll study at home, in the living room, on my computer. How will you study? I'll listen to 1 or 2 lessons a day to fill up the 15 minutes. What's your study schedule? Monday through Friday for 15 minutes a day. This makes a lot more sense now, doesn't it? Instead of saying, hopefully I'll learn that language someday, and never taking action on your goals, by setting these small, measurable goals, you know what you need to do. Okay, let's recap. To set successful language goals, your goals should be 1, specific and measurable, 2, realistic, 3, have an action plan, 4, a deadline, and 5, be broken down into small monthly goals. So instead of saying, I want to be fluent in 2019, try, I want to speak 30 minutes of conversation by December 31st, 2019. And then go even smaller and set a small monthly goal. So everyone, it's your turn. Leave a comment and tell me, what's your small, measurable, monthly goal, and what's the deadline? Here are some examples you can steal for yourself. Learn 100 words in 1 month. Speak 1 minute of your target language in a month. Or do 20 audio lessons in 1 month. Deadline, January 31st. Now, speaking of lessons, here are this month's new lessons and resources. First, the Ultimate Listening Video Master Course. Honest question, how sharp are your listening skills? With this video master course, they'll be as sharp as a razor. Download it right now. Next, the Talk About Your Body PDF cheat sheet. With this cheat sheet, you'll learn words for parts of your body in the target language. Then, there's the most common texting slang word list. If you want to text in the language you're learning, you'll love this. You'll learn how to say LOL and other words in your target language. And finally, the How to Express Quantity vocab list, where you learn how to say if there's a lot, a few, or a little bit of something. To get these free lessons and resources, just click the link in the description below. So, thank you for watching this episode of Monthly Review. Next time, we'll talk about the 7 tested timeless ways to learn a language. In the meantime, like and share this video, and leave a comment to tell us what language learning tactics you'd like us to talk about. See you next time. Bye!
Hello everybody, welcome to Top Polish Words. My name is Marzena and today we will learn 10 phrases to amaze native speakers. So let's go! Dziękuję, ale nie jestem Polakiem. Thank you, but I'm not Polish. Dziękuję, ale nie jestem Polakiem. Thank you, but I'm not Polish. So I guess after long years of studying Polish, somebody can mistake you for an actual Polish person, and then you can say, oh, no, thank you, I'm flattered, but I'm not Polish. Dziękuję, ale nie jestem Polakiem. Nauczyłem się mówić płynnie w ciągu zaledwie roku. It took me only a year to become fluent. Nauczyłem się mówić płynnie w ciągu zaledwie roku. Nauczyłem się mówić płynnie w ciągu zaledwie roku. It took me only a year to become fluent. Nauczyłem się mówić płynnie w ciągu zaledwie roku. And if you're a girl, you want to change this nauczyłem się into nauczyłam się. Nauczyłam się mówić płynnie w ciągu zaledwie roku. Będę mówił po polsku jak Polak w 3 lata. I will speak Polish like a Polish person in 3 years. Będę mówił po polsku jak Polak w 3 lata. I will speak Polish like a Polish person in 3 years. That can be a goal for you to achieve and kind of something you can do. So, please try. Good luck. Powodzenia. Uczyłem się polskiego przez 10 lat. I've been learning Polish for 10 years. Another thing that will leave people impressed is saying that you've been learning Polish for a very, very long time. And you can say, uczyłem się polskiego przez 10 lat. I've been learning Polish for 10 years. And remember, if you are a girl, you want to change uczyłem się into uczyłam się. Mogę oglądać polskie filmy bez napisów. I can watch Polish movies without subtitles. Mogę oglądać polskie filmy bez napisów. I can watch Polish movie without subtitles. This is something that will really impress people, and I guess you can achieve it by watching a lot of movies and then studying Polish with polishpod101.com. These 2 methods combined will lead you to success. Potrafię zapamiętać około 50 nowych polskich słów dziennie. I can memorize around 50 new Polish words a day. Potrafię zapamiętać około 50 nowych polskich słów dziennie. I can memorize around 50 new Polish words a day. That's a kind of achievement, yet, think about it, it's not very difficult to do. So if you try to study with like flashcards from polishpod101.com, you can actually may be able to do it in a very, very short time, go to up to like 50 words, because words are very similar and there are the parts that you already know, and that kind of helps you memorize. So be sure to think about it whenever you're learning a new word. Polski jest fajny I prosty w nauce. Polish is fun and easy to learn. I guess a lot of native speakers think that Polish is very difficult, and this, so you can amaze them by saying Polski jest fajny I prosty w nauce. Polski jest fajny I prosty w nauce. Polish is fun and easy to learn. Well, I would be amazed if somebody told me that. So please try it out on your Polish friends. Mówię nie tylko po polsku, ale jeszcze w kilku innych językach. Apart from knowing Polish, I can speak a few other languages as well. Another thing that many people find amazing is if you can speak not only Polish but other languages as well. So in that case you can say mówię nie tylko po polsku, ale jeszcze w kilku innych językach. Apart from knowing Polish, I can speak few other languages as well. That's definitely something to amaze your friends. Uczę się polskiego samodzielnie. I'm learning Polish all by myself. Uczę się polskiego samodzielnie. Uczę się polskiego samodzielnie. Which means I'm learning Polish by myself. I'm learning Polish by myself. Polish is a very difficult language to learn, so learning it by yourself is actually very difficult. It requires some time, it requires effort, yet if you can do it, that's really amazing. Go for it. Nie mam najmniejszych problemów z polską ortografią. I have no problems with Polish orthography. So what is the most difficult part in studying Polish? Well, somebody would say it's an aspect, but I guess there is another part that's very difficult, and it's orthography. And actually, orthography is difficult not only to foreigners, it's very difficult to Polish people as well. And we got a lot of people, not even our president can spell some words, so please watch news for that one. So if you want to impress somebody, you can say nie mam najmniejszych problemów z polską ortografią, which means I have no problems with Polish orthography. That's actually cool. I do have problems with Polish orthography, so I would be impressed. Thank you for watching. This was 10 phrases to amaze native speakers. And did you try any of these? Which one works the best? Please let us know in the comments, and please remember to like this video. And for more words and for more lessons, please visit polishpod101.com. Thank you again and see you next time. Cześć!
Want to speak your target language with confidence and impress native speakers? When learning to speak a new language, you have lots of things to think about, including grammar, vocabulary, and pronunciation. Because you're thinking of all of these things and trying to speak, it can be difficult to communicate with confidence, especially in the beginning. This is why it's helpful to make confidence-building exercises part of your language learning process. In this video, you'll learn 7 ways to boost your confidence. 1. Read out loud. This might seem pretty basic, but it's a great way to practice speaking. Reading aloud lets you practice speaking without having to think about grammar or things to talk about. Reading out loud lets you focus on your pronunciation and the rhythm of the language. It can help you learn to speak more smoothly and quickly, without even thinking about it. If you're using our lessons, read the dialogue out loud as you listen. You can read along with the dialogue tool, the lesson notes, or the transcript. 2. Read like a child. This might sound strange, but think about children learning to read. They go slow and sound everything out. Maybe it takes 2 or 3 tries before they read a new word smoothly, and a few more tries before they can read it at a natural pace. This example applies to language learning too. If you find a complex sentence in something you're reading, read it slowly at first, then speed up. With practice, you'll be able to say it easily. It might feel a bit silly to speak very slowly, but this kind of practice can help you identify tough sounds you might miss or say incorrectly when reading quickly. 3. Use the dialogue breakdown tool. If you're using our site, this is a great tool to take advantage of. It breaks down lesson conversations into individual lines. You can listen to the audio for each line, learn what each line means, and can reread and review as much as you want. 4. Use the voice recorder to record and compare yourself with native speakers. Just click on the microphone icon next to each line in the dialogue section. You can use this tool to perfect your pronunciation if you like, but this is also something you can use to work on speaking with confidence at native level speed. You'll find this tool in the dialogue section of all of our lessons. 5. Repeat and review old lesson conversations. Reviewing what you've studied in the past is the best way to make sure you maintain what you've learned. Go back to older lessons, download the lesson dialogue tracks, and re-listen to the conversations again and again. Or you can reread the dialogue lines from previous lessons until you've mastered them all. 6. Shadow conversations. Repeat what you hear out loud. This tactic is important, but it can be tricky when you're doing a brand new lesson. If you're reviewing dialogues from lessons you've done, though, it's super easy to do. Just listen to the dialogue and repeat what you hear. Shadowing means mimicking the speaker as soon as they speak, following their intonation and rhythms as closely as possible. 7. Send recordings to your Premium Plus teacher. If you want to speak with confidence, there's no better confidence boost than feedback from a native speaker, and you get just that with a Premium Plus teacher. You can record yourself reciting a lesson dialogue or any dialogue of your own, and your teacher will give you specific tips on how to improve. From the tips your teacher gives you, choose at least one and practice, practice, practice. Being able to react quickly and with confidence in a conversation is typically not something you can do on your first try, but if you continue practicing, you'll gradually find yourself speaking with ease. And for even more ways to build your speaking confidence, check out our complete language learning program. Sign up for your free lifetime account by clicking on the link in the description. Get tons of resources to have you speaking in your target language. And if you enjoyed these tips, hit the like button, share the video with anyone who's trying to learn a new language, and subscribe to our channel. We release new videos every week. I'll see you next time. Bye! Expand your vocabulary with our Core 2000 Words ebook. It's free and packed with essential expressions that you'll use on a daily basis. Start building your vocabulary today. Click the link in the description below to download your free Polish ebook before it's gone.